How's it going, everyone? The PlayStation Store is currently running its Blockbuster game sale as well as its games under $20 sale. They're also running PlayStation Indie sale. We had covered that in previous videos. We did a video looking at games under 10 and games under 5. Check those out if you want. We're gonna be highlighting Blockbuster games as well as games under 20 in this video. Want to highlight the games under the price of $10, and there's quite a lot of them. And we won't be hitting the under $5 tier in this video. We'll do another video taking a look at those. You know how our videos are worked out. So without further ado, let's get right into it, and let's start things off with Borderlands, the Handsome Collection, which is 75% off for $9.99. Now, this is available with PlayStation Plus Premium, but it seems like everybody hates PlayStation Plus Premium, so like nobody has it. But if you do, you can play it that way. This is a great collection. You get Borderlands 2 and Borderlands the pre-sequel, and all of the game's respective DLC. I should say most of the game's respective DLC. The one thing you are missing is Commander Lilith and the fight for Sanctuary. Not a big deal. You can miss out on that. What you do get is a fantastic first-person shooter RPG. Yeah, most people will say Borderlands is best played cooperatively, and it's definitely a great cooperative experience, but if you play it solo, it's still an enjoyable game. The comedy is there, the gameplay is solid, and the general gameplay loop, I think, is pretty fun. So $9.99, given the content you're getting, the replayability, excellent deal there. Next up, Witcher 3 Wild Hunt Complete Edition for $9.99. I mean, this is really a no-brainer, super easy to recommend. Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games of the last decade, and honestly, probably one of my favorite games of all time. Now, if you are buying the game and you have a PlayStation 5, I would say buy the game. $9.99 for the Complete Edition is great, but wait for that upgrade to come out because that is going to be the premier way to play the game on consoles. The game runs fine on PlayStation 4. It's just if you do want to do a playthrough of the game from start to finish, you're playing it for the first time, I would just say wait for that upgrade to come out. It should be out in the next couple of months before the end of the year. And I feel like that upgrade's going to be really great given that we saw the leap that Cyberpunk 2077 took. Now, if you only have a PlayStation 4, don't worry, the game still runs fine on PlayStation 4, and if you are adamant that, hey, you're going to stick with the PS4 for a while, you're not getting a PS5 anytime soon, pick the game up, play it, you'll have a great time, and then, hey, maybe a year or two down the line when you pick up a PS5, the upgrade will be out by then, and you can do a playthrough at that point. Next up, we have Metro Exodus Gold Edition, which is at $9.99 if you are a Plus subscriber, $11.99 if you're not a Plus subscriber. Now, that's the baseline Plus subscription, like the Essential tier. Pretty good buy here. Metro Exodus also has a great PlayStation 5 upgrade. The game looks and plays fantastically. The Gold Edition does include the additional content, which is great as well. I know some people thought Metro Exodus was the weakest of the three Metro games, but I think all three Metro games are pretty damn good. So in saying that, obviously visually this game is a level above, and I still think narratively it's pretty strong. The atmosphere is great. Decent bit of content. For $9.99, I think it's a good pickup. Next up, we have Rise of the Tomb Raider 20-year celebration. 80% off for $5.99. You guys know how I constantly rave about the Tomb Raider game since the 2013 reboot. I've just loved these games, and I can't wait for Crystal Dynamics to put out their next one, which is in development right now. But if you've never played Tomb Raider since the 2013 reboot, or maybe you only played the 2013 reboot, Rise of the Tomb Raider, in my opinion, is the best of the three games thus far. In my opinion, it had the best story, and gameplay-wise, it was such a step up from the original Tomb Raider 2013, that is, and just fantastic game. Really enjoyed it. Good bit of content here. 20-year celebration edition has some additional content as well. Given that this game initially started off as an Xbox One exclusive, then it ultimately got ported to PlayStation as well. You guys know how it works, but $5.99 for a Rise of the Tomb Raider, think that's a great deal. Definitely would give that a shout. Next up, Prey Digital Deluxe Edition, 75% off for $9.99. This is an interesting game because while this game is called Prey, it's very much not anything like Prey from 2006, and I believe the developers recently came out and said they didn't even want to title this game Prey. Nonetheless, what to expect in this game is an atmospheric sci-fi first-person shooter with a really, really trippy narrative. I thought this game was very, very engaging right from the get-go. It's got some interesting thematics. Gameplay is solid, and it's definitely got a bit of that spooky, eerie vibe going on for it. With the Deluxe Edition, you do get Typhon Hunter and Moon Crash on top of the base game, so that's quite nice at $9.99. I often say that this was like the most underrated game of 2017. I know we're far removed from that, but a lot of you guys probably missed out on Prey, so Digital Deluxe Edition here for $9.99, I think that's a great pickup. Next up, we have Valkyria Chronicles Remastered, 65% off for $6.99. Another game that I constantly rave about. Valkyria Chronicles as an IP in general, I think is fantastic. It's one of those JRPG franchises that I really think is a great gateway franchise, just because it's very different than a lot of other JRPGs in the sense you don't have this world to explore. It's got a pretty engaging story that I think anybody can really get into. This emotional war story a likable cast of characters, and you don't have a lot of the typical JRPG tropes in this game. The gameplay is pretty good. A tactics-based JRPG here can get challenging at times, but overall for $7, I think this is a really good pickup, and I would give it a strong recommendation. You guys know I always talk of Valkyria Chronicles. It's gonna be no different with VC Remastered when it comes to a $7 price tag. Next up, here's a tremendous deal. Kingdom Come Deliverance Royal Edition is at $6 for Plus subscribers, and then for non-Plus subscribers, it's $8. This is a brand new low price for the game, and this is fantastic. It's definitely a historical RPG that has a little bit of realism aspect to it, so I don't think it'll be for absolutely everyone, but for this price point, this is such a great deal, given that the Royal Edition is the edition to buy, given that you get all the DLC with this version of the game. Typically, you'd see it go on sale for like $9.99, at $5.99 with a Plus subscription, and again, you can just have an Essential subscription, and you'll get it for $6. That is a ridiculously good deal, especially for all the value you get. The hours of gameplay per dollar is ridiculous. At $6, is just a great deal. Even if you're paying that $8, if you're not a Plus subscriber, that's still a fantastic deal, and I would strongly recommend it. Visually impressive. I think that's a great price at $7.99 or $5.99 with a Plus subscription. Next up, another RPG, Dragon Age Inquisition Game of the Year Edition is 80% off for $7.99. For a lot of people, this would be BioWare's last truly great game. Remember, after this, you had Anthem, Mass Effect Andromeda, titles that really didn't resonate at a high level. If you want to include the Mass Effect Legendary Collection, yeah, that was pretty good. But Dragon Age Inquisition, as far as new games go, for a lot of people, it was their last great game, and I thought it was a very good game. I thought it was one of the best games of the PlayStation 4 early generation, that early period of the generation. There wasn't a lot of titles coming out, but Dragon Age Inquisition definitely stood out as a quality RPG with a lot of content. The Game of the Year Edition adds additional content, and while I still don't think any of the Dragon Age games are quite as good as Dragon Age Origins, obviously, it's a little bit harder to go back and play that game, especially on a PlayStation platform. And Inquisition at $8 is definitely worth your time and money if you want an in-depth RPG. This is a good one to get into. Next up, we have Dreams, 60% off for $7.99. Done by Media Molecule. This is a game that unfortunately just does not get the love that it deserves. It is a fantastic game, and obviously when you talk about a Media Molecule game, the creation elements are going to be at the forefront, but look, I am the least creative person when it comes to games like this. Little Big Planet, the level editor was fantastic. Don't give that to a schmuck like me, because I am not going to know how to utilize it to the full of its extent. However, in my opinion, Dreams, it's all about, you know, experiencing what other people are doing, and people are making some pretty cool stuff when it comes to Dreams. People with more talent in their pinky than I have in my whole body, but nonetheless, it's a great game, aesthetically pleasing, a great presentation style, and then, yeah, for $7.99, it's just fantastic. But Dreams for $7.99, I think, is a great price, so definitely go check that out, a worthwhile pickup. Next up, another fantastic JRPG, Tales of Berseria, 55% off for $9. To a lot of people, this is the best Tales of game in the entire franchise. I think a lot of people really liked how Velvet was an incredibly compelling main character, and for a JRPG, a lot different than your typical JRPG main character, a darker tone to the story as well. The gameplay is your fairly standard Tales of fare, but it works pretty well, and overall, narratively, I think the game is pretty strong. Outside of Velvet, I think the whole cast is pretty good, and at $9, I think this is a really good pickup. Obviously, if you're a Tales of fan, no-brainer here, and if you like JRPGs in general, Tales of Berseria is a worthwhile pickup. Speaking of JRPGs, also want to give a shout to Ni no Kuni 2 Revenant Kingdom, 85% off for $9. While I didn't think as highly of Ni no Kuni 2 as I did the original Ni no Kuni, this one introduces some elements that I wasn't as big of a fan of. However, it still has that great presentation style, the great soundtrack, and the story is relatively decent. Would I say it's worth that full $60 price tag? I paid that $60 price tag back when it initially came out, and no, I wouldn't say it's worth a full $60. However, at $9, I think if you're looking for a charming JRPG to get into, Ni no Kuni 2 is a pretty good one. So $9, I think it's a good buy. And lastly, do want to give a shout to A Way Out as well, which is 75% off for $7.49. Obviously, a co-op only title. It's made by the same developers that made It Takes Two, and a lot of people think It Takes Two is better than A Way Out. I think A Way Out is just as good, if not better. I really enjoy this game. Again, you have to invite a friend to play with you, so yeah, just keep that in mind. It's only cooperative play, but Hazelight has kind of carved out a nice niche for themselves where they're creating these really high quality co-op titles and they're turning out really well. Narratively excellent, a lot of twists and turns along the way. I think at $7.49, it's a good price. You know, if you really do want to think about it, you can cut the price in half with a friend that you're inviting to play with you. I don't know, just buy your boy lunch or something. It doesn't have to be that serious. $7.49 is already a great price, so yeah, go check it out. But that is gonna do it for me. Again, all of the links to all of these deals, as always, will be in the description box below. Be on the lookout for our under $5 video, which will probably be coming out sometime in the next week or so, but that's gonna do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comments section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.